Hello, today I want to talk about Amazonite, and I have a cute little piece of it just here. Yeah. I love it. Oh, it was a gift for sure. Anyway, so Amazonite often comes in a myriad of blue shades. So it can be anything from a deep dark blue to a more of a bluey green sort of colour. It's often found in places like Brazil, Mozambique, Madagascar, Canada, India, United States. When we talk about the speed in which it vibrates, it's often considered on the scale of crystals to be about medium. So it's not super high, but it's also not very slow vibration as well. Now, when you're working with this crystal, the physiology that this crystal can work really well with is ailments to do with the lungs, the chest, sinuses, the throat, the gout. If you've got issues with gout, issues with your liver, heart, and also calcium deficiencies, so bones in that regard. And the chakras, the energy centers of the body that this crystal can also be good to work with is obviously the throat, the spleen, and also the heart as well. Now, when you're cleansing this crystal, from what I have done my research on, it can undergo almost any cleansing practice. However, you are welcome to do your own research just to ensure that the cleansing that you wish to do on the crystal is safe for the crystal and that it won't erode the crystal or damage it. Now, when we get into a little bit of the astrology, Amazonite is often associated with the planet of Uranus, and it's often associated with the element of water, which is always quite interesting. Those sort of archetype of Uranus and what sort of things you may associate with that planet, and then also the element of water. What do you associate with that element? Now, there are a number of peoples around the world that have worked with this stone, and some of them go back thousands and thousands of years. So you think about places like ancient Egypt, India, even up to this day, still works with Amazonite, and obviously at the time period of Mesopotamia, and you can find that all throughout a lot of the Americas. And yes, there was a lot of shamans and a lot of people of certain status within some of those societies that often worked with these stones. And Amazonite gets its sort of Englishish name, obviously because it can be found, in Brazil, in near the Amazon River. And as some of you may or may not know, the Amazon actually used to extend far beyond Brazil. It actually covered many nations of South America, but of course the Amazon River only goes through a certain number of them. So yes, that is when I see and I feel this stone, it brings me personally to sort of central, northern and mid South America. Me personally, it brings me to another time frame, another time zone, another timeline, and associated with those lands, which is always lovely. I've loved, very much loved a lot of that part of the world as a child, growing up and learning about some of these cultures, and even to this day. So yes, so some people like to pair the crystals with other crystals, and often two crystals that this one is often paired with is a smoky quartz and some tourmalines. I've heard some people talk about black tourmaline, some people talk about pink tourmaline. I guess it just depends on the intention and what you are working with the crystal. You can also use other crystals with it, like aquamarine, tourmaline, opal, blue lace agate, blue sapphire, larimar, and those, many of those that I've just listed also have a very blue colour. Oh, I'm just loving touching this crystal today. Thank you. Okay, So some areas of your life that you may find that this crystal is super helpful or could assist with. I was putting it there because my throat is getting a little tickly. So yes, relationships. This crystal can be good when you're wanting to work through certain things with relationships. Could be romantic relationships, family relationships, professional relationships. Also really good for your career and professional life if there's some things that you're wanting to work with there. People often associate the crystal with peace, truth, harmony and communication. Oh, I'm loving this. And also are really good with going with the flow, and I can see why it's quite good for the Virgo archetype actually to be working with this crystal, which I have very strong in my Russian astrology chart. So yes, going with the flow. Yes, it can also be associated with stone with success and abundance. It can be really good for nervous system regulation, anxiety, PTSD, and some people even use it for EMF protection or disbursement. Now, as beautiful as it is to be able to actually hold the physical stone here, I also like to encourage every time I talk about a crystal that I remind us that we can also work with these minerals and these stones, not always necessarily by obtaining them. So we can work with them through the use of art and imagination. So when I'm talking about art, we can think about things like drawing and painting and photography. Imagination, obviously using your third eye, using what it is that you envision in your dream time, in your meditations, whatever it may be. You can envision that you can see this crystal, you can see any of these crystals. And you can also work with them with sound. So there's also probably a growing research that'll be going on where people are able to associate certain frequencies with certain stones, certain objects within our lives. There's already research to show that this can be useful in regards to organs. Like different organs of the body have a certain frequency, different chakras. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see more research about how, I don't know, what kind of frequency does this chair emit? All sorts of things, because the air can only hear between a certain hertz range, and so certain the objects have sounds that vibrate lower than what we can hear, and some have higher. And let's be honest, we don't really want to be able to hear every single thing that we have in our physical environment. The human body would just be too overwhelming. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this vlog today. I'm just, like I said, I'm just loving holding this crystal. There's obviously some things that this crystal is assisting me with in this moment, which I won't share, and thank you for respecting my keeping of the inner world with that. Now, you're more than welcome to leave any requests. If there's any crystals I haven't spoken about yet, you can request them down below. I'm more than open to doing crystal vlogs, talking about specific crystals that you're really drawn to. Obviously this one here today is something I'm very drawn to in this moment. And yes, I will see you in the next vlog.